All right, everyone. This is Alex. It is 10:32 right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with just sharing a couple things about the Investment Dominator. I do see that we don't have any attendees on the call right now, so obviously people can join as we go through this. So if you join while I'm talking on this, go ahead and ask your questions. I will take questions at the end. And we'll go from there. If we don't get any questions, then I'll just you know just talk about a few things, and we will post a recording on the user guide. All right. So if you've been following along, in the last few live calls, we talked about kind of the first steps of what you need to do in the Investment Dominator when you first get started, and I'll kind of recap them real quick. Basically, you're going to set your company information under Customize Site. So your company name, your company's phone numbers, things like that. We talked about setting your signature file under your profile section. And then thirdly, coming in under land deals or house deals, depending on what you're focusing on, and upload and import your list. These were all talked about in the previous sessions, live sessions that we did. So if you have any questions about that, either go back and onto the user guide and find those live sessions, and I'll just show you quickly how to do that. You go under Help, and then click on User Guide. It loads the user guide here, and if you scroll down here, we have the replays of our live training calls, including this one once it's been uploaded to the site. And we also have other articles in here that are your user guide articles that contain videos and instructions. And more than anything, if you're searching for something, there's a search bar at the top, and this is pretty much what you use to find stuff. So if you want to look up stuff like importing, you just type in import, and there's a bunch of articles and live training calls that have to do with the import process that you can take a look at. Also, real quick on this, when you click on the user guide article, a lot of times it has a video, and if it does have a video, it's on the right-hand side up here. You just click on it, and it loads the video. All right, so I just wanted to cover that real quick now. Then we talked about the next step, which is basically sending out your letters, because once you've imported your list, you go under Generate Documents, you generate your neutral letters. We also talked about what to do in the case of using a mailing house, and then also how to bulk update the records, because everything in the Investment Dominator is kind of built around this concept of bulk doing tasks, like bulk making offers, bulk sending out letters, bulk updating things, until you get to the point where you're actually buying the property. And then at that point, it becomes an individual process where you're doing individual research, detailed research on the property, closing on that individual property, and then selling that individual property. But pretty much 80% of the way, 80% of the time or tasks are bulk tasks in the beginning, until you get down to actually doing the deal, and then it's kind of a one-on-one type scenario where you're working that one property all the way to the 10-20% that's left on that. We also talked about in a previous live session how to then work it through the statuses, and things like mapping out the property, getting directions or zip codes for the property, things like that. All right, so that's kind of a recap of the previous live sessions. Like I said, you can go and take a look at them on the user guide there, and go back through them if you have any questions regarding the things I just talked about. For this week, since we're kind of beyond the setup tasks that you would need to do, I want to bring up the different customization options within the Investment Dominator. Because in the beginning, we always recommend that you use the built-in pages, the built-in content that we provide in the Investment Dominator right out of the box. So when you first get your Investment Dominator and you go through those first steps of putting in your company information, you'll notice that on your buying site you have default text here. You have some pictures that come with it, some text that has already been written on your behalf, and some tabs and forms and things like that. So what I want to talk about is what can you customize, and I'll kind of keep it general. So we'll talk about what can you customize in the software, and if you have any questions, more detailed questions, we can talk about that as well. But right out of the box, when you're kind of like first getting into investing, you want to just use the content that is loaded on the site and the templates that we've loaded into the program. That's kind of what differentiates us between a lot of other CRMs that you might have to set up from scratch. We load in the content and the pages and the templates that we actually use and that we know work. So in the beginning, we always tell people use what we've got in there because we know that works. But later on, you definitely, as you grow your business, as you do deals, you might find more effective ways of writing content, updating your websites, to make it more effective, make it convert better. You might want to change the letter a little bit, and test more than anything. You don't want to just blindly change stuff. You want to actually do split tests and see which letter performed better, because we've done that a lot of testing over the years that we've invested. And so what you're seeing, what all the built-in stuff that you're seeing is based on our testing. But as you go out and do more deals, you can obviously start testing your own things and improving your own site and just making it more of your own. So I just want to go over the things that you can customize currently in the software, so that you have so you can start thinking about things that you might want to change, and you might also want to think about things that you might want to keep the same, just for the fact that I just mentioned that we've tested a lot of things on our end already. All right, so let's go through that. I've got a little kind of list of things I want to talk about, but for the most part, let's start with this. You're going to find all the customization features under this tab called Customize Site. Okay, we try to get everything into this section here. It's one big, long, giant page, and it's getting longer and longer as we add more features. So you notice when you click on the Customize Site tab, everything kind of shrinks down into these sections. Okay, and we try to keep everything into these sections so that it doesn't become overwhelming. So the first thing I want to talk about is you can actually create custom statuses. All right, so custom property record statuses. Now that is found under Customize Site, and then this tab that says Custom Property Record Statuses. And what is a status? Just to recap, if we go back to the land deals here, you'll notice that when you import your list, everything is in a prospect status. When you mail out your letters, your properties go from the prospect status to the mailed letter 1 status. Okay, so everything in the system is kind of based off of these statuses. The statuses control what buckets or groups they fall into, and it also controls like your reports. So if you mailed 500 letters, it shows up in this report. If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, let's say, request offers, they go into the pending preliminary research status, and you'll notice then your reports say that you have 5 offer requests. So everything you're seeing here is based off of the property record status. We give you the ability to customize and add different statuses. Now, one thing you want to do is, like I said in the beginning there, the statuses that we've already built in are the ones that we are the main ones that we use to go from buying a property to selling a property, kind of like the complete life cycle of a property, and everything in between, including skip tracing, if we put something on hold, or if we just close out a file. All that's built in. These are the statuses that are built into the software already. So you don't need to customize this right in the beginning. This is something that you kind of do after. But let's say that that you actually want to create some more statuses, because let's say you want to start testing a second letter. Would be a good example. In this case, you don't have the statuses to handle a second letter, so you'd have to create that. So how you would do that is you would go under Customize Site, and then you would go over here to where it says Custom Property Record Statuses, click Add a Status. And in this case, it's going to ask you, is this a status just for the land records, or is this a status for the house records, or both? Okay, because we do treat land and houses differently, and you'll notice that by looking at our built-in statuses for houses and our built-in statuses in land, you'll see that there's a difference in that. We actually, going back to this example that I'm talking about, we send one letter to land prospects versus multiple mailings, a letter, a postcard, or letter to house prospects. So there is a difference in statuses therefore. But let's say in this case we are going to set up a new land status, meaning it's only going to affect the land deals or the land records, and we're going to call this status mailed letter 2. Okay, this is something that we don't currently have, but we're creating a new one. I'm going to click Add and create that new status, and it adds it in the system. Now, if we go to the land records right now and we click on one of these and we say Change Status, you'll notice that we have that new status appear. We have mailed letter 2, but it's not in the right order, right? Because when we're mailing letters, in this case, it should be moved more closer to the top after the mailed letter 1, naturally, because we mail out the first letter and then we mail out the second letter, and then it would go into pending preliminary research. So we can actually customize the order of the status as well. The way that we do that is go back to Customize Site and go back to Custom Property Record Statuses, which is where we just were to create the status in the first place. And then we're going to click this button that says Sort Status, okay? This is going to show us our statuses, both land and houses. Like I said before, you can already see that the house process has way more statuses built in than does the land. But this is our new one called Mailed Letter 2 that we just created. I'm going to click it and drag it up to where it says right below Mailed Letter 1. So our new kind of custom process is going to go from prospect to Mailed Letter 1, and then to Mailed Letter 2 when we mail out the second letter, and then it's going to go through the rest of the statuses. I'll click Save. And now that's saved, if you go back to land deals, you can click on here. You can see that it goes from prospect to mailed letter 1 to mailed letter 2. All right. Now this brings me to my next feature that I want to highlight, which is the custom letter or document for that matter. So as you know, the built-in process goes off of statuses, and based on the status, we can generate some documents. So if the prospects, or if we have records in the prospect status, which is the status that the records are in when you import them by default, then we are able to generate the neutral letter, which is the built-in template, the first letter that we send out. So in this scenario, we actually want to create a new letter based on after we send out the first letter. So if we go back to our land deals here, you notice that we have quite a few records that are in the mailed letter 1 status, meaning we already sent out that built-in neutral letter that's already in there. But now we want to create a letter 2, and we're going to mail them to people that are in this this new status or in this mailed letter 1 status. So in order to do that, we can go to Customize Site again, and then this time we're going to go to a different section, and the section is called Custom, Letter Template. Well, again, let me try that again. The section is called Custom Documents. All right, not to confuse you. So let's just explain that one again. You want to go to Customize Site and Custom Documents. Okay, we're going to create a custom. Now I already have a bunch in there, so I'm going to actually delete some of these so that we're not confused. Actually, you know what? I think I was testing a few of these, so I won't delete too many of them. But let's go ahead and add a new document. You probably won't see any documents in here when you go into yours if you haven't yet created a custom document. it'll just be a blank section with this button that says add document. So I don't want to kind of point out the fact that I already have documents that I've created, custom documents that I've created. One thing I will also note that you'll notice that you cannot customize the built-in documents, and that is designed developed in the software for a reason, because again, we have tested the neutral letter over many iterations, and so we build that and hard code that into the software. So if you want to even change the neutral letter template, you're going to actually have to create a custom document for that. But going back to our scenario where we want to create a second letter, we're going to click this add document because it's a new document. We want to make sure that the to field is connected to the owners of land deals, okay? Because we want to, this document is just for landowners, basically. So that's a very important step. The second important step is to select the status where the document is going to automatically generate. So in this case, we said that we want to generate the second letter when the prospect or the record is in the mailed letter 1 status, meaning we've already sent the first letter, and so therefore we now want to generate the second letter. So we select that status as the trigger status. The next is what type of document do you want to generate? If you're familiar with Word documents and you want to use Microsoft Word documents, then choose the doc. Or if you like the PDF versions better, then choose PDF. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't choose both because there is a difference between these two options here, and both would mean that you'd have to spend a lot of time going back and forth. It's very finicky to try to make them the doc version and the PDF version look exactly alike because they have different margins, things like that you have to worry with. So I would actually choose one or the other. So in this case, I'll just choose a PDF. And then you want to name your file. So let's just call this one letter 2. And then we're going to create the letter. So dear, and then you can use merge fields just like we use in the built-in templates. So for example, dear caller's first name, which is the one that's used in the import. I want to buy your property. Call me at. You can even use merge fields for your company information. So your company phone number can be a merge field. And today to get an offer, and then you can you basically create whatever letter you want, but regards with an S, and then you can even use your signature as a merge field, okay? And the font of this can be custom to what you need. So like if you want this to be a slightly bigger font, if it needs to be different type of font here, you can just adjust it however way you want. You could highlight certain things in different colors, for example, and that will be generated. All right, the other options of the custom document are if you want to create envelopes or labels, and if you want to have the option to export the data to like a mailing house, like the built-in documents do. So in this case, I'm going to choose an envelope. I'm going to allow for a data export, and then I'm going to also allow for that option to bulk update the records. Now, if we're sending out letter 2, then we actually need another custom status. If you think about it, we need what we need to do is we need to move these prospects to that custom status that we created, which is the mailed letter 2. Because after we mail the letter 2, we're going to bulk move this status into this custom one that we created called mailed letter 2. And then this per each property option is basically, do you want to create a document per property or per owner? So I'm going to say no, because it's just going to be per owner, not per property, which is what we have in the built-in templates, letter templates. I'm going to click add, and that creates our custom letter called letter 2. Now you'll see if I go back to my land deals now, because I have a bunch of properties already in the mailed letter 1 status, I should be able to generate these documents. So if I go to generate documents, if I go down to the custom document template section, then you'll see I have a letter 2 and it's a PDF download. And if I generate that, then I will be generating the custom letter that I just created for however many people that are in this mailed letter 1 status. You can see here I've got, you know, Dear Ernesto, and we've got another one, and we got another one. So, and it's got the highlights that we did, and it has the signature merge field already in there. Dear John. This one didn't have a first name, I guess. So you can see that you can generate a custom letter that way, and then also download the envelope because we chose that option. And then when we bulk update the records, you'll notice that we're moving them from mailed letter 1 to then mailed letter 2. So that's the other thing that we configured. All right. So I didn't want to spend too much time on one of the customization features, but this one I get asked a lot on how to create custom documents. So I did want to explain the process on how you would go about that. You first want to probably think about creating a structure using custom record statuses, which is done here, and then you want to go about creating your custom documents after that. All right, so the other options customization options I want to go through is you've got also and I think I talked about this in a previous live call that we did just a few weeks ago or so. But the other customization is that you can have custom domains. Obviously, when you get the Investment Dominator, it comes with a domain like this, Investment Dominator, and it's got a bunch of random numbers here. And so that's your kind of assigned installation. But you obviously want to customize that so people don't have to type in investmentdominator.com. They should go to something like www.landforsale.com, which would be your own custom domain. I think I've already talked about this before, but just kind of a quick overview. The way you would set that is under Customize Site, and then in this case, you want to go to Website Settings, Buying, which is your buying site settings, and then your custom domain is configured here. All right, and you can basically the first step of that, and that's in the user guide. The first step would be to point that new domain from the GoDaddy, you know, like a lot of people use GoDaddy as their register. You want to make sure that it's pointing to our servers first. But once it's pointing to our servers, you can come in here and change it to, your domain.com, and you hit change domain, and it basically changes it from the assigned installation that we've given you to your custom domain. All right, but again, you need to point your new domain, whatever that may be, to our servers first, or this step will not work. All that is covered in the user guide. Just to kind of go back to the user guide here under, if you type in domain, there is an article about changing your domain here, or it's right here at the top, how to change your website's domain. So all that is covered here in detail, if you haven't done so yet. But that should be one of the first steps that you do anyways before you send out the letter, is to customize at least your buying site, because that is used in your letter. You can also customize the selling site domain, and that's done under another section called Website Settings Selling, which is the settings for your selling site. And again, it looks the same, but it's for your selling site. And again, here you would point your selling site domain, mysellingsite.com, to you want to point that domain that you register with a registrar like GoDaddy to our server. But then you can come over here and change this and basically change it from the default assigned your website to your custom domain. And the only caveat to that, again, is to point the new domain to our server first. Otherwise, whatever you can configure here won't make a difference because your domain is not actually pointing to the Investment Dominator. Okay? So that moving on the different things that you can customize. The other thing is you can customize the banners. So for example, see this, we have some, picture of money here on your buying site. This is a banner. When you click on land here, sell your land, there's another banner behind here that's kind of built in. When you click on sell your house, there's another banner that's built in. These all can be changed to something custom. So like, and even on your selling site, here, you have a banner. This is all custom to whatever you need. And the places to change that is under customize site again. And again, you want to either be under the website settings buying section, or if you're doing it for your selling site, it's going to be under the website settings selling site. But if for the time being, let's just take a look at the buying settings. Here is that banner with the money. You can change both the text that's on top of it. So if you look at here, there's some text here. You can change this text right here. So I buy land, for example. I can change that, and I can change the background of the image or the banner by just choosing a file here. Can be any picture, and then you crop it within the software. You do want to, this is a low resolution photo here, so it's not going to look that great. Let me see if I have a different, I buy land. Let me see if I have a different file here. This may be a higher resolution, not really. Anyways, I'll just choose this for now, but you can choose something like this, click confirm, and I change the text up here, and then I change the banner from this to this. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom and save. And when you come back to your buying site, you just need to refresh, and it has the custom text and it has the custom picture in the back. You'll notice it's a little pixelated here because I'm using a low resolution photo at this point. So point is, you can customize these things. Now, moving on, you can also customize the logo. I think I talked about that in another session. So this logo up here, it actually, when you, by default, when you first sign up, you won't have any logo. It'll just be blank. But you can add your logo, and that's something that we recommend in the beginning, if you have a logo. Even if that logo is basically the name of your website, it should work. So the way to customize the logo is, again, under customize site, and it's either going to be under the website settings buying site or the website settings selling site. So in this case, I'll just go to the buying site, and you can see where it says upload buying site logo image. And again, I've already got one uploaded, but I can always change this at any time by clicking choose file. And let's say that I want the logo to be this little portion of the lake on this picture. Then I confirm that, and you can see I'm changing this picture with this picture, and that will be my new logo once I save it and come over here and refresh the site. So you can see now I switched out my logo pretty easily. All right, so that kind of covers your basic website settings. The other thing, and I think I also mentioned this before, is you can customize things like your menu up to the top here. So in the beginning, you have home, sell your land, sell your house, contact us. Now, one of the most common ones that I get asked is, how do I remove the sell your house tab because I don't want to deal with houses? So that's quite easy. You just go under your customized site, and again, you want to go under the website settings buying. In this case, this is our buying site, and you want to click on the button that says manage buying site menu. So once you pull this up, it'll give you your header menu and your footer menu. Your footer menu would be the one that's on the bottom here. So this is your footer menu, this is your header menu up top here. So you can customize both. Now what you want to do is, this area that says not set means that you have the pages available, but they're just not being set on your site. So versus this section down here where it actually says header menu and footer menu, this is actually what is showing up on your website. So all you really need to do is drag the sell your house one off into the not set area, and we can do that in both the header and the footer. And once I save that, come back to my selling site, you'll see that it no longer, the sell your house doesn't exist. Also, you'll notice that the built-in welcome text will automatically update to only mention land here versus sell your house before. So in the selling site, website settings, selling site works the same way. You can click the menu, manage selling site menu options to rearrange. Now this brings me to my next point, which is you can add custom pages to this site. So let's say that you want a terms of conditions page that we don't build into your default site. You can do that by going to customize site and then clicking where it says custom pages and posts. And in this case, you want to come in here and create a custom page, and then fill in the options here. Like, is it a single page, like a terms of service would be a single page, or we have the ability to create a blog page, which would allow you to post things to that blog page. So those are the two types of pages you can create. Also, the page status indicates or allows you to set whether the page is public or private. If it's set to private, it won't be accessible on the internet, on your website. So you want to set it to public if you want it to actually appear on your website. You give it a page title, terms of sale, for example, and then you can actually set your own page URL. So you can set that to basically, let's say, terms. So it would be basically your website name / terms would be your URL for this page. You can also choose what menu shows up at the top, whether it's the buying site or the selling site, probably in this case, if it's terms of sale. And again, you can use merge fields to generate this page. Terms of sale, you can make that a header, for example, just using the options that are provided here. So make it a header, center it, and then you could just maybe put some bullet points in there, and just write your terms. Term 1. So you can just do whatever you want on this page. You can add pictures to it. Just use these options that are above here to actually create your page. And then they have some more options. We have some more options for custom page, whether to show the logo at the top or not. Sometimes you don't want to do that if you're doing a landing page. If you do want to show the logo, what logo do you want to show? Your buying site logo or your selling site logo? Because again, there's two different logos set in the system. Also the banner, do you want to show that banner, which is this section right here, or not? You can choose to hide that completely, and that's done here. And if you do choose to use the banner, do you want to show the text of the banner? And if so, what is the text of the banner? And again, the text of the banner is what is overlaid on top of the banner. Okay, so that's how you would set a custom page. And the letters and contracts. So just kind of a quick summary of what we talked about is we talked about how to do custom pages, meaning website pages, how to change your domains so they're custom, how to customize your built-in banners, your banner text, how to customize your logos for your websites, how to customize the menu of your websites, and the header and the footer menus, how to customize the statuses that a property goes through. We talked about how to customize create a custom letter, and also really a custom document. You could not just create a letter, but a custom contract under that same section, which is custom documents. It's not limited to letters. You can do, I've seen people do letters. I've seen them do contracts. I've seen them create custom flyers for their property, custom signs, like just bulletin boards kind of stuff. So you can get really creative with this custom stuff. The last thing I didn't quite mention was, and I definitely, I think I mentioned it in a previous session, but I want to reiterate again, is you can see here we made a lot of changes. Like we took away, just in this call right here, we took away the house option. We modified the logo. We modified the things. Now, one thing that we have built into the software is the ability to revert your changes back to the originals. So for example, if I want to come back in here to customize site, website settings, buying, and I want to change, for example, this banner back to the original, and then all I have to do is click reset to the default, and it brings it back here. And I'll go ahead and save this here. See, it brings back my default money banner. And then if I want to bring this text back, how this works is basically you go to the section where you put in the custom text, and you just delete it all. As long as it's all deleted and saved, it'll revert back to the built-in text, which is this one right here. So it's kind of a different way of doing things, but that's kind of how the system works, is if you just delete what you did, it should reset it back to the originals. Same thing if I go back to the menu over here. If we go back to the custom property statuses, or sorry, if we go back to the manage buying site menu, there's a button that says reset to default. Reset to default, save that. Once you save that, you get everything back to normal. You got your house text in here, house text, and sell your house. Same thing with pages, by the way. If you look on the sell your land page, I put a custom video here. So if I'm on my sell my land page, if I go back under customize site, and I go to the website settings buying site, because that's the buying site, I'm going to scroll down to where it says sell your land page, which is exactly this page. And you'll notice that I had put a video in here. That's what this little box is. This is a YouTube video, which shows up here. But if I want to get it back to the default text, all I have to do is delete everything that I put in there. So what I do is I go to the source tab, and I just come in here and select everything I put in there and delete it. And you'll notice that it's just blank at that point. If I go down and save that blank record, then it doesn't go blank. What happens is we put in the default text that was there before, because by default we didn't have a video, we had this text. So I just want to bring up that fact of how to kind of revert your changes if you make a mistake and you want to go back to the original. It's pretty easy in the system to do that. There's certain, same thing with the logo. It works a little bit different, where if you want to, we don't have a reset on the logo itself, but you can always come back here and set it to something else. So for example, I think I had this one back there. So if I come back here and reset it to this logo, then I essentially get back to what I had before. Okay, so it's very easy to go back. Now, if you want to reset it to nothing, which I've had that question before, then what you'll have to do is take a picture of this menu. You could use your screenshot capabilities on your computer. Take a picture of that, and then upload that picture. And then what you'll want to do is crop it just to the black part of this picture, so that basically you're replacing it with a black background, a solid black background, and that would get you back to the default look of having no logo. Okay. Now, lastly, what I want to mention before we end this call, or I'll check if we have any questions. Let's see here. We don't have any questions so far. So if you have any questions, go ahead and use the chat box that is on the GoTo meetings or GoTo webinar software to send in your questions. And we don't have any right now, so I'm going to kind of just continue on there. But before I wrap up, I want to mention some kind of more advanced ways to do things. So there are certain things that you don't have options for. right? So for example, you don't have options on, currently anyways, currently we don't have an option to remove this banner from the website settings area. But you can actually remove this banner if you so choose, but it does require a little bit of an advanced technique. So I just want to mention this not to confuse anybody, but to basically make you aware of it, and allow you to customize things that you really, really want to customize, but we might not have the option for it yet. Because like I said before, we are always updating the software, so we could add a feature like that in a coming release. But let's say that you want to get rid of something now that's on the site or customize it, and you don't yet have the option under these customized site options here to do so. What you can do is we have actually a section called, and let me go back to customize site. The section is called website settings. And under website settings, we have a section called website tracking code. Now, this is usually designed for you to put in website tracking code like Google Analytics or Google Tag Manager or Facebook tracking or something like that. If you were running ads, you would definitely want to put in the Facebook tracking code or a Google or AdWords tracking code in this section so you can track conversions and things like that. But you can also use this section to customize in a more advanced manner your website. So again, I don't want to confuse people that just want that too much on this stuff, but I do want to make you aware that you can customize things. You might need the help of a web guy to help you with this, but I just want to show you the concept of it more than anything. Because what I'm showing you is not it's not a feature of the software. It's more of a workaround. So this banner, for example, is an element of the website. So if I wanted to remove this entire section, I would first need to know what this section is called in the background. And in order to do that, I would right-click over the section and I would click Inspector. And I'm using the Chrome browser, by the way. So it may look different in other browsers, but in Chrome, you just right-click over your section of your website that you want to look at. And here, you got your website up here, but down here you get a little bit of information of what's going on in the background. And one of the things is this banner. You can see it here. It says banner. Now, if I turn this banner off in this code, I can do so by writing a simple script under this website settings. And this script is style, just like this. And again, you probably would need some help of a web person that knows just general knowledge about HTML. But this would be the tag that you would put your script under. And you would hide this banner by basically saying, you would come over here and you would look at what it's called. So it's called .banner. So I'm going to go over here and say .banner. And then you want to say display none. Okay, this is a little advanced thing, but once I save this, it should turn off this banner. So what I did was I saved this setting under website settings, just this little script right here. And by doing so, well, it didn't quite do that. So let's see, the banner, oh, that's because I need to do banner land. So I'm going to do banner dash land. And I will go ahead and update that. And that gets rid of the banner altogether. So you can see here, and again, I don't want to confuse anyone because this is more of an advanced thing. Like I said, you might need the help of a person that generally knows a little bit about HTML and CSS, but this is something you can definitely do if you want to change certain areas of the site that are not available to you, you don't have options under this website settings section yet, then you can always come to this website settings section, and you can enter in code that's not necessarily a tracking code. That's the main concept I want to share with you, is that there is a way to manipulate the styles of the site through this section called website tracking code. All right. So with that, if you have any questions, I'm going to just take a look again, see if we have any questions. I don't think we have any. So I'm going to go ahead and end this call for today. We're going to post a replay of this call on the user guide section. Let me just go back to that. So it's userguide.investmentdominator.com. It'll be posted the same as the other ones in kind of like the same format. And you can come back in here and watch the replay of this. And again, to get to the user guide, the easiest way is to go under help, and then click on user guide, and that's how you get to the user guide. You can either scroll down, see the latest post, or do a search. All right. So with that, I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, or just anything in general, please go to the help section and enter in. If you have just a quick question about something, you can click on this green option here, which brings up our general support. They'll let you know how to, find a user guide article if you can't find something. These are for quick questions. If you have a more advanced question, a more technical question, use the middle option to actually fill out a tech support request, including screenshots if you have them, or if you want to attach a file that, for example, a list you want us to take a look at, attach it down here, and we will be happy to take a look at it for you, let you know, how to fix any issue that you come across. All right. So I hope you guys have a great day. That ends this call for this week. Have a nice day. Bye.